Hey coaches and athletes, stick around for this, but we're talking about what do we look at, what do we look for to make sure that our athletes are doing a push off our chest, a horizontal push and a horizontal pull appropriately. So we've learned, first thing we always look at, lower back stability, right? We want to make sure that our lower back is nice and neutral. Okay, then we've already talked about watching the shoulder blade move as they press or pull down in a vertical pattern. Now, in a horizontal push, in a horizontal pull, here's what we're looking for. Always, always, always. And we're talking push-ups here, we're talking bench press, we're talking anything. Is the spine neutral? Now, if you're a power lifter and you arch like a son of a bitch, fine, okay? You're not gonna have a neutral spine. And that might work great for you. But for the general athlete, here's what I recommend. So, our push and our pull. And again, we're talking super, super simple here, okay? Super simple because you know what's really funny is most people make a mistake on the most basic things, okay? Coaches, athletes. So, let me show you what's going on. We need to make sure on a horizontal push, a push-up, a bench press, whatever, it looks the exact opposite of what a horizontal pull, a row, a bent over row in this case, would look like, okay? So, here's what we're getting at. We need to make sure that their body can get their arm all the way back without trapping up, right? Getting into a trap. We need to make sure that they can come all the way back and that they can come all the way forward. That's the first thing we look at, okay? If they have problems with that, stretches, big time, okay? Now, as they push and as they pull, we would never want this to happen. Just like we'd never want this to happen, right? Too much extension or too much rounding, right? So, we always want to make sure we're somewhere in here. Now, how do we do that? Okay? I would recommend always learning how to do plank first, okay? Once they've figured out how to be neutral, how to be plank, how to have their whole spine neutral, then and only then should you be showing them how to do a push-up or how to do a bent over row. Because if they can't even hold plank, how do you expect them to do a push-up? Now, if they're doing push-ups on their knees, same rules apply. They should still be able to hold a perfect plank in their knee down position, okay? Same goes for their rows. Now, let's just talk pushing and pulling. Josh, what do you look at? What do you look for? Okay, so just like we talked about with the shoulder blade having to move as they press overhead or pull, we're looking for their back to almost cinch together and push away. Cinch together and push away. So it's not the shoulder blade rotating, but it's almost as though our shoulder blades will bend and come toward one another, okay? That's what we're looking for. Now, we need to make sure in order for that to happen that their traps do not do it. So your traps being way up in here, okay? So as soon as the traps come on, you're gonna get a rounding forward of the shoulder, right? The only time this is great is maybe in a farmer carry situation when something's by our sides and we're carrying it, or in a dip situation. Our traps are certainly gonna help stabilize it a little bit. But we need to make sure, just like the shoulder press, that the shoulder blades remain fixed. So in a shoulder press, it would rotate out in order to create stability and then rotate in on the way down on a pull. It still needs to be tucked down, okay? So again, having our shrug on, that's not a great position for us to pull. We need to make sure, again, our shoulder blades are tucked down. Great, that's a good first start. Now, on a row, starting out here, right? You should see my lats are gonna stretch. That's right under here, right? Those will stretch. Then it all comes down and together in one point while keeping my shoulder blades tucked. So as I pull, let's just do a general pull. As I pull, you can see my traps stay down, my arms come back, and it all squeezes together. Now, I'm still extended up. I'm not rounding over. I'm not extending up too high. It all comes here. This should be the exact same position where we do our push-up. So you can see why my general cue is you should have a fist between your arm and your body when you do a push-up, because that's just a general cue, a guide to know that you're in the right position so that we could do a push from here. So again, whether we're doing a row or a push-up, you can see the line of action is still the same, okay? We're here for a push-up, we come all the way down to the floor or as low as we can possibly go, right? But it would look very similar if I were in a bent over row position. So I'm still extended. As I pull my arms up, it's still in that exact same position I would be if I were in my push-up position, right? It's here, same position, I just held it in tight as I would be in my push-up or in my row position. Whether my palms are up or palms are down, it's gonna look pretty similar to this. So, what am I looking for when I coach my athletes on horizontal pulling and pushing? Are their shoulder blades tucked in nicely? And for most people, the cue of that fist-sized distance between their elbow and their body, also a 45-degree angle, should be pretty well used, okay? It's very easy for you to check about a fist distance. Elbows are at about a 45-degree angle. Your thumbs would be about nipple high, so you could push away. You can see this would be a pretty good area for me to push from. We don't want our arms way up here, right? Because what's going on? We wouldn't row when we're way up here, so we shouldn't do push-ups when we're way up in here. Why? Our traps, right? It breaks our cardinal rule of traps have to be off. Our shoulder blades have to be down. And again, if my shoulder blades are down, this is about all I got, okay, for a horizontal push. If I'm way up in here, it turns into something completely different. My shoulders will tuck in, and I mean, it hurts to even try to press like that, okay? And it would hurt really badly if I'm trying to pull. So, I'm looking at shoulder blades down and 45 degrees, whether it's on a pull or on a push. So, neutral spine and checking for our whole back doing this work, not just a part of it.